and let's get started here. Welcome to the stream. I'm honored to be able to hop on here to the SudokuCon platform and talk to you guys about this exciting project that I've got going on. I had put this little thing up here while I was setting up, and as I was setting up, this went from like 600 something to over our goal. So, my goal. Thanks so much. This Kickstarter has been running for just over 2 days. It's going to run for the rest of the month until the 15th. So it's definitely going to happen now because we've reached the goal, and I'm hoping that it will just continue to go up and up and up. Can someone put something in the chat to make sure that I didn't break it? Because I haven't seen another chat since I messed with it. Okay, great. Thanks, Palfly. Okay, so I made a little list of things to do. You might tell I'm a little bit nervous about this, but we're going to get through it. I'm going to first talk a little bit about just and remind you guys what SudokuCon is and what SudokuCon is and what this channel is in case you're not familiar. SudokuCon is an annual convention of puzzle enthusiasts, those being logic puzzles. Mostly we focus on variant Sudoku, but also pencil puzzles and other kinds of puzzles. And it's an annual convention. The first one just happened this past April, and the next SudokuCon will be a real in-person convention in Europe. It is currently being planned for England, and maybe that's all the information I'm supposed to give out right now because we're still working on venues and logistics and getting the exact dates, but it will be in next summer in England. And I got involved with helping to plan SudokuCon. I've been a supporting role, not at all, sort of leading this effort, but somewhat of a supporting role. And for the past number of years, it's been really great to get into this puzzling community. But I feel like we've all I could say, oh, I've met a lot of friends in this community, but really I've interacted with a lot of colored letters on the screen, and actually having SudokuCon in person was really great to be able to actually meet some people in person and actually say, oh, I've actually met these people and interacted, and that's been really great. And if you didn't have the opportunity because you were on the other side of the pond, we're going over to Europe next year. And that'll be great. And I hope to be there. I plan on being there. I hope to be there and hope to meet a lot of you guys. What we're doing on the SudokuCon Twitch channel is all kinds of things that could be tangentially related to Sudoku and puzzles and all of this. And there's lots of channels out there that kind of do solving, and that's not really what we wanted to do with the SudokuCon channel. We wanted to look at do other things. And there, I did it. I found a button to click while I was rattling on to get the chat to show up on screen. And so we do different things on this channel. Today I'm going to talk about this periodic puzzle project, which is a book project that I'm working on. And next week, on the 22nd, we're going to be doing our next installment of Anatomy of a Puzzle with Malrog and Skojo. I'm not sure who's providing the puzzle and who's providing the analysis, but that'll be on the 22nd. But today what we're going to do is, hey, the stuff, as long as stuff can show up, it's going to be overlapping. It's going to do all kinds of stuff. I'm not excellent at this, so we'll see how it goes. I think the ads pop up over the chat for a minute. So Malrog puzzle, and then Skojo is gonna solve while Malrog tells how he did it. Okay, that should be great. I'm gonna click this here. I'm just gonna take a couple minutes to point out the project here. This is the periodic puzzle project. Thanks so much already. Another pledge has come in, and now we're over 800. What this is I have been working, oh, the genesis of this project was over 2 years ago. And I started making puzzles for a number of different projects. And thanks so much, P-Win. Really appreciate the support. I started making puzzles for a number of different projects, and I'm a chemistry professor, and so a lot of my projects are chemistry themed, and so a lot of those puzzles were chemistry themed. So I've launched this Kickstarter to try to get this periodic puzzle project going. What this is a book. It's going to be 118 puzzles, all themed after one of the elements on the periodic table. And alongside of that, there's going to be a page of information sort of explaining some of the aspects of the puzzle, but mostly that's going to have history, trivia, other kinds of things about the chemistry of the element that the puzzle is themed after. There is a link here if you would be interested in looking at proofreading tasks, or if you'd be interested in helping me out with testing some puzzles. Most of the puzzles are fairly standard, and I can test them and make sure that they're unique and everything with computer solvers, but especially those where I'm doing anything a little bit wild, it would be great if I could have some second set of eyes on those. But this is a little mock-up of kind of what it's going to look like that I stole off some book mock-up site. And this puzzle here in the image, you can actually play that puzzle if you do this QR code. I'll talk just a little bit about what's going on here. So there's different rewards. The lowest one is 15 bucks. And that'll get you the PDF of the book, and you'll get it as soon as it's ready. As soon as I have the PDF, which I think based on timelines that I'm looking at with everything, we should, I think, have the PDF ready in October. And then the book, hopefully, if everything works the way that it seems like the timeline is, the book physically should be able to start shipping sometime in November. In that time, while the PDF is out, that also gives us one last time to make sure that there's no issues, and we can fix those before the books go to print. For $20, you can get just the print book. That's going to come either in a spiral version or what they call perfect bound, which is just glued on the end. 25 bucks, you get this PDF and a bunch of different bonus materials that are you can look at in all of the different reward tiers. Then there's a pretty steep jump up to this commissioned puzzle tier, and for $75, you'll get everything you get in the digital puzzle, plus you get both copies of the book. So you get 2 copies of the book, and I will make a puzzle for you, just for you. You sort of give me your preferences, and I'll make you a puzzle and try to match a difficulty and all that kind of stuff. For $105, I have a few slots for authorship collaboration, which we work together on one of the elemental puzzles, and you also get credited as author on that puzzle in the book, and that'll appear in the book. As you can imagine, I can't do that for lots and lots, and I've got a majority of the puzzles done, so the selection of elements is a little bit limited there, but if anyone's interested in that, that'd be fun. And then there's a couple other higher tiers. But This is a little shot of what it's going to look like. A puzzle on one page, information on the other page. That's that. Ads above the chat. Let me see. I thought that was right. Twitch chat. Yeah, I don't. Oh, I see. There it is. Boom, boom. Okay, Malrog. I think I fixed the layering thing. Yeah, that looks right now. Okay, cool. So that is that. Yeah, yeah, Palflight. How far are you on the Scrabble tiles? You're about 2/3 of the way, I think. There's been nice. Palflight's making a set of alphabet tiles that are coming out on Ranks' Adventure series. So I will try not to rattle on too much more about this. I appreciate all the support so far, and let your friends know, let your nerdy people know that this is coming out. It's going to be quite fun, I think. So, what I proposed to do in this stream is to talk a little bit about my setting style, specifically the motivation I had when I'm setting puzzles in this for this book, and then what we were gonna do is try to set a puzzle. Now, I've done a few things here. We'll see how far we get. If we are able to set a full puzzle or not, we'll at least get from chat some ideas of how to get started. But the first puzzle that I wanted to point out is, let me switch to this view. This puzzle called Ferrum. This is the puzzle that, click that transition thing. Yep. This is the puzzle that will be for iron, Fe, on the periodic table. And some people may have already seen this because it's one of the ones that I've been releasing as a preview puzzle. But I thought this was a really good puzzle to just kind of dig into what I'm trying to do with the project. Well, first off, obviously it has Fe, the elemental symbol in the periodic table for iron. And that's the general starting point for the puzzles. I want the puzzles, I mean, you could imagine you could cut out all the puzzles out of the book and put them on the wall and have your own periodic table. That's kind of the starting point in the idea. And then I try to think about how can I feature things about the element in the puzzle. And so lots of people will think of a break-in for a puzzle, and it you know, the break-in might take a killer cage here and a little squiggle here, and that's going to force a digit. In this project, I've kind of had to work a little bit differently because, of course, if I want these letters in here, there's only a certain number of ways I can render two lines to make it look like these letters. So I have some choices over, for instance, what kinds of constraints these letters can be. As Prof. Meow points out, I've specifically decided before I even did anything that iron was going to be orange, which was what we generally have been using for Dutch whispers, and that's because of the rust color. It sort of evokes rust. So I made that choice early on. I drew Fe in the grid. The first thing I did was draw these lines, click and make sure that for some random reason it wasn't broken, and then we're off to the races. The atomic number and atomic mass are two things that are right there in the periodic table that you can use in a number place kind of puzzle. So in this one, we see we've got 26, which is the atomic number, and I put that 26 inside of a 26 killer cage. So we can feature that number. And then 55.85 ends up being the atomic weight. And so I split that into two 5 cages and an 8-5 cage. If we look at the periodic table here for iron, 55.845 is what they've got, is what Google shows you. So I've got a rounded value there, down to 55.85. The question about how to use zeros. Any atomic number or anything that has a 0 in it that I wanted to feature in the puzzle, I've just split the number up and used it like a 10 or something. I have not done all of the puzzles yet. I've done a lot. But I haven't done like a 0 to 8 puzzle or any kind of S-cell Palfly. Palfly has in Schrodinger cells, yeah, you would think I'm a chemist. You gotta like Schrodinger. I really actually don't like Schrodinger puzzles personally. So I don't think there's going to end up being a puzzle that uses Schrodinger cells, Malrog, in the book. I guess I could back up and give a little bit of why I don't want to use something like a Schrodinger cell and probably won't put a 0 to 8 puzzle in, which is I'm trying in this book to make it appeal to, the hardcore puzzlers among us, many of which might be on a Twitch chat or on a Twitch stream about nerdy puzzles, but also to be at least somewhat approachable. I want to have most of the puzzles to be sort of at or above, just a little bit above that generally approachable Sudoku kind of level. They don't have to be super easy, but I want them to be able for people to get through them in general. So, yeah. Palfly also points out, for new setters, don't try to set with visuals first at the start. It is really easy if you've got some visual aesthetic that you want to lock down. It's very hard to keep that from breaking. It's a generally good advice. I mean, generally, I would have the same advice. Yeah. So, let's see here. What was I talking about? So I picked this, then I tried to figure out a way that I can put the atomic number and atomic mass in here, and played around with these killer cages and moving them around. And at one point of this version of this puzzle, I think I actually didn't have these killer cages and was thinking, could I do like some kind of like 5, 5, 8, 4, 5 sort of motif like this and just have them given digits. But these killer cages actually, when I played around with them, these killer cages actually do some pretty cool stuff. For instance, because these are all 1, 2, 3, 4, it has some bearing on this 8 cage, and this 1, 2, 3, 4 looks over here. And when you do the math on the this box here, you can only use 1 of 1, 2, 3, 4 over here, which means you're going to have to use 2 of 7, 8, 9, and then you can do a little bit of math here, and it's a kind of cool start. So, like all things, we do these puzzles sort of when we set. It's best to sort of do puzzles one clue at a time, but when I'm trying to start with a bunch of stuff already in the grid, it takes a little bit to play around. But what I did to set this puzzle was get these killer cages going, decided I like that, and then you'll see all of these 2s and 3s. So for this puzzle, I decided to use difference dots that were 2s and 3s instead of standard crop key, because the most common ionic state of iron, or the most common oxidation state of iron in its compound, is +2 or +3. So all of these dots reinforce +2 and +3 in iron compounds. And then I tried to think about how to lay them out. And if you'll notice, all of these actually are symmetrically placed. Even the values aren't necessarily symmetric, but most of them have the placements, what I'm going to say, is symmetric. So all of the dots make some kind of symmetry. So I like to try to do any kind of thing like that to keep those elements in the puzzle. So this puzzle, that's ferrum. Okay. And that's generally what I'm trying to do with these puzzles. This one I think was a particularly good example of the kinds of things. So in the book, then I'll talk about iron. I'll talk a little bit of some interesting things about its properties, and then there'll be a paragraph that sort of explains in briefer detail the significance of everything for the puzzle. Okay, and this puzzle worked out really, really nicely, I think. I want to, by way of sort of showing the opposite scheme, show this other puzzle here. And this is the beginning of, I have to click this transition thing, beginning of a puzzle for borium. So borium is BH. I drew a BH in the grid. Borium's atomic number is 107. So, of course, you draw a huge cage that adds up to 107. So that's not a killer cage. That's an innocent cage. And, of course, this is just a gimmick. I've used this kind of gimmick in a number of the puzzles. Try not to get too crazy, but a number of the puzzles, this is 107, but those two rows add to 90. So really, it's just a killer cage over here that adds to 17 is what this breaks down to. 17 killer cage in a puzzle is pretty not useful, but that's okay. Then I've got this one here, which is 270, which is what I pulled off of the closest periodic table to me as the atomic weight. Now, I thought this was interesting, and I'll just tell a little story here. If we look at borium on the periodic table here that Google will pull up for you, it shows that the atomic mass should be 264. So how could I have gotten 270 off of another periodic table? Well, if you go to Wikipedia, it will tell you that borium-270 is the most stable known isotope, which is usually how we in chemistry would put that's the number we would put on the periodic table for a radioactive element. Borium and everything super heavy in the periodic table is not stable. We don't have any stable compounds, and so we do generally put the most stable one in brackets, and that's 270. Now, Wikipedia also tells me here, and I don't know anything. There's no reference here, but it tells me that 278, which has been unconfirmed, may have a longer half-life. Well, right now, 270 is supposed to be the longest one. So why Wikipedia says borium has 264, I'm not sure. Data not decisive. Yeah, so this says it's unconfirmed. In super heavy elements, you always have to have independent confirmation, and then things have to go through IUPAC, the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry, to say, hey, we've got a new isotope and all that kind of stuff. So it takes a while. Borium is one of the elements. 107 that when I was in high school, my chemistry textbook didn't have element 107 labeled as borium. It had it as what, unil septium 107ium, because in the history of naming these compounds there was some disagreement, and well, it just takes time to decide on a name for an element. So for a while, I think 104, 105, 107, some of those elements were shown on periodic tables as just unil quadium, unil pentium, that kind of stuff. Borium is this guy's final name, which from a chemist perspective is not great because we have boron here, and so if you've got an ion of boron and an ion of borium, they're both borium, boron. Yeah, they both sound the same. They're homophones, so it's not totally great. Nevertheless, um, uh, that's what we've got. So I chose 270. That's what I think I'm going to stick with. And this 270, of course, is kind of gimmicky. We've got 4 boxes of 90 here, 5 boxes of 90 here. You do the math here, there's 17. You do the math here, it's 28. So this whole, all of those huge cages end up giving you an 8-9 pair here, because this ends up being 17. This ends up being 17. This ends up being 17. And that's sort of a silly, huge break-in thing. This, oh, are we on ads? So, I think we're on ads, so if you can hear me, I'm just going to wait until we get back from ads. Malrog is back from ads. So, okay. So I think we're back from ads. So, all of those huge cages just give me this 8-9 pair. And I thought, okay, that can do something. What can that do? It's not even, it's not odd, it's high. We could make this German whispery. We could do something like that with high-low coloring. In the end, I decided to make this line a line that alternated between primes and composite, or primes and non-primes. So I don't know. I thought that might be interesting. So like all of these digits, then we can color as some combination of 1, 4, 6, 8, 9, and these can be our prime numbers. Let's color them something different. Blue, 2, 3, 5, 6. So I thought, okay, this could be prime. Yes, and we've included 1 as a non-prime because primes have to have exactly 2 factors. I can actually let me do a different view here. This is not the greatest view. Let me do this view. There, that's better. Primes have to have 2 factors. You know, when I learned way back, this took me a while to understand because I think it was like when I learned what a prime number was, who knows when it was, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, I don't know. But is a number that was only divisible by itself and 1. And so 1 to me sounds like a number that's divisible by itself and 1. Thanks, Malrog. I keep forgetting to hit this button. Prime number 1 sounds like divisible by itself in 1, but um, I learned that I had learned that wrong at some point later. So, um, and I am a chemist and not a mathematician. So, this is where I got, and then I started thinking, what else do I want to do for this puzzle? This is borium. It's named after Niels Bohr. And so Niels Bohr is famous for the Bohr model of the atom. So I thought I'd try to incorporate some kind of structure in here that maybe would mimic the Bohr model of the atom. So I thought I can maybe add some crop key dots that maybe would give I could add them in here in a way that would give me sort of like curves of maybe look like that. And so I'm not going to go through I'm not going to like keep showing this for you what can happen, but I ended up with something that looked like this, where we would get sort of 3 rings of Kropkes, and then that wasn't unique, and so I added a couple more lines, and this, if I also need a little bit of help, I made some fake killer cages in here to help the solver. If I do this, and I go over here in Sudoku Maker, and I click Find Solutions, it pops out a unique solution. Okay, so I have a unique solution. I put some stuff in the grid. We're good, right? So what happens when you try to solve this is you do all that. You can talk through all the math, and you end up with this 8-9 pair. You can do the coloring here. This 8-9 pair tells you that there's going to have to be a 7 there, an 8, and a 9. And what you can do from here is you can pencil mark this line, and then you can stare at the grid for about a half an hour and not find another digit. This puzzle is unique, but you cannot solve it. If I go back into Sudoku Maker and give it that 8-9 that I can learn and have it try to step-by-step logically solve it, it will churn a bunch and remove a couple pencil marks, and you get to this. So this is an example of like, you can just toss things into the grid and all along the way check and make sure that it's solvable. And you can put back to this view. You can see here Sudoku Maker, the kinds of things that it tries to do, doesn't get anywhere. You can click this little button, find all possible solutions as you're adding things, and it looks like you're making progress, but you have to actually work through the puzzle and try to solve it. So what I thought we would do is try to maybe fix this puzzle. Yeah, row 1 looks real bad up here. I mean, there's just no information up here at all to help, and this line hasn't been fixed. But I don't hate the kind of look of this. I also will mention that these kind of angular lines, I can make them curved when we go to a make these lines up here curved with a little bit more work here on the I don't know, on the aesthetics of it or whatnot. So what I'm thinking is I kind of do like this setup, but the puzzle won't solve it all. So I think what I'm going to do is try to keep this, but add given digits. So, and I think I would like to try to add given digits in a way that kind of keeps the idea of these shells. So like, I don't know, maybe like, and this is not the way that I would suggest people set puzzles, right? This is a way to see, can I save this puzzle idea? And the problem with setting like this is that you don't know, because you got to go back and solve it and all this. So, and it could still suck, right? Right now, the puzzle's total garbage. So the question I had was, can I save this puzzle? So I could give like these digits here, maybe kind of keep in this motif. And what I was noticing here is that if I give these two given digits, then that's going to set this prime non-prime line, because now we've already got two primes, so that means that those two would have to be prime. And now at least we'll have all of this pencil marked. So we can pencil mark this line now with this little piece, and then this will all be pencil marked. So just as a, I don't know, lazy man or poor man's way of trying this, let's see what happens. So look at, okay, okay. So I'll put this back to full. The auto solver was able to solve that. It still has lots of nasty contradictions, and you shouldn't, of course, oh, need to put the transition button. You shouldn't use these sort of auto solving things to try to solve your puzzle, but they can give you a little bit of an indication of whether or not it is human solvable. Now, what happened right here is there's one deduction you can get from this huge cage, which is this is an 8-9 pair. Without that deduction, the Sudoku maker can't find a digit. So that's something that is something that I do. A lot of my puzzles end up, I don't know if they're over-clued, but I'm not afraid to add extra clues if it makes the solve path a little bit easier. But one thing that I've just done is essentially I've invalidated this cage by not putting the deduction in here. And it shows me that that deduction is absolutely necessary, right? Because the solver doesn't find anything. So if I put that 8-9 in there, then it can solve. Yeah. I'm still not sure. Let me do that again. I'm still not sure that this is great. Let's see, what can we actually get here? So again, let's just now see where we can solve. 7, 8, 9. This 5, 3 tells me that that's a 2, 7. And we can go through here now and be able to pencil mark our primes, and let's color them something. I don't know what color I used before. But now we could go through here and prime and unprime, or prime and anti-prime our puzzle. Do something like that. And then we can start coloring this up maybe. I see there's greens here, so that means the rest of these have to be this yellow color. Maybe I can go back to this view. Be better. And continue on like that. This looks like it might be actually functional as a little bit more of a puzzle. I know, though, when I click into this and just let it auto solve, there's a lot of, one thing that I look at, I guess I'll put this back here. One thing that I look at when I'm doing this kind of a thing, which again is not always the best way to set a puzzle, but I want to make sure I don't see any of these contradictions, or I don't want to have a lot of contradictions. This step right here says it's using a finned X-wing. That's not something that I would like to have in a puzzle that I'm trying to be kind of approachable. Generally, contradictions are not great. Sometimes sometimes this is really useful. I'm trying to be very quick here because I don't want to spend lots of time on this stream, but sometimes these are really useful. See, oh, why is that a contradiction, like at this step, and what does that tell me about the puzzle? So these kind of auto solver features are useful to tell you about the puzzle, but not useful to act. That they don't give you the full, sort of solve. You know what? I think this is fine, but this is just going to give me maybe some coloring. I want this puzzle to start a little bit quicker than this. So I think I'm looking up in this box here, and I see this line, and I think that if we can, yeah, look at this. If I give the 3 and the 7, then that line is going to automatically, we're going to automatically know that run is 4, 5, 6, and all 3 of, or the 5 would be placed. And these 3 and 7 are sort of symmetrical as well. Oops. Let me go here. Does that make sense? If I give this 3 and 7, which I know the puzzle's unique, so if I want to put more given digits, I have to put the ones that are supposed to be there. But I think this actually, yeah, this is really powerful, and because this is a run of 3 digits, it can't be 7, 8, 9, it can't be 1, 2, 3, it has to be 4, 5, 6. Oh, thanks to anonymous gifter, whoever you are, an anonymous gifter. And congratulations to Isaiah for the subscription. May you use this subscription for non-evil purposes, Isaiah. So we've got this here, 4, 5, 6. The 5 goes in the middle. Then this is, once we do the math on this big 107 thing, this is a 17 cage with a 7 here, so that means that these two things add to 10, which we could know could be 1, 9, or 2, 8, can't be 3, 7, can't be 4, 6. This cell can't be an 8, this cell can't be a 9. This cell can't be a 9 because there's an 8 right there, so that's the 1, 2. We don't have a 9 up here, so we can't use 1. That gives me a 2 and an 8. So maybe this is actually pretty nice, as this box would really become the break-in, I guess, to the whole puzzle. We get this, we need to find that, but this box is where we would start. 1 and 9 are left. These have to come from the set 1, 4, 6, 8, 9. That can't be 8 or 9. That one can be lots of things. The 2 also gives me a 1, 3, and that one can't be 3, so it has to be 1, which actually, okay, this was actually a surprising little, yeah, that maybe is pretty nice. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Of course, we can also pencil these now, which are our 2, 3, 5, 7. That's not 7. That's not 3. And then that's not 1. You might need a few other givens with that 3 and 7. Yeah, I think these givens gave us stuff that I don't know how it gave us, but it made it solvable. So I'm going to I think I'll leave those in there and find out how that works. And then maybe like, if I want to add more givens, maybe like right there or right here. I don't want to put any on the lines or anything, or on a dot. Yeah, I'm sure there's more stuff that I'm not seeing. R2, C6, R2, C6, C to 6. I mean, you can do the box 3 stuff without any other givens. Yeah, the 3, 7. Yeah, yeah. Without these other givens. That's what you're saying. That's right. These givens aren't doing much now. Yeah. That's true. These two, oh, these two set this, but with this, like, wait a second. Does this set this without those? This might actually set that. Yeah, Melrog, that might be true. Let's pretend like that's not there. For the 5 and get the coloring of the 5 and 3. Yeah, this gives the coloring, but does this give the color? I've got 2 here. 1, 2. Let's keep going. Let's pretend like we don't know what these colors in this row are and see if we can get these colors without this. Let's just see. This, oh, but we do know what that color is. That color is that. So it's 1, 4, 8, 6. It's not 8. And it's not 9. So it's 1, 4, 6. So that would be either 2 or 3, 5 or 5. So that actually is green. And it's not 2. And that's not 1. And that's 3, 5. So 3, 5. Yeah, actually, those are green. So I can only put one more green. So that's green. So this 5, 3. This 5, 3 wouldn't be needed to set this. So let me go ahead and I'm going to delete these given digits because we don't need to use them. And we've done all this. Now I'm just, yeah, that 3 and 7 kicks all that off. That is a, oh wait, that can't be the 3 now. That has to be 1. That has to be a 3 or a 5. And then this is like whatever's left, 4, 6, and 9. Oops. 4, 6, and 9. And what I'm going to do right now is just click this auto solve button and see if, surely, we know the thing's unique, so surely this is going to at least solve. Yes, it does solve. I am tempted to just go ahead and see if this solves the rest of the way. When I click this thing, it looks like, I guess I could show this. When I click the auto solver, at least Sudoku Maker thinks this is all hidden and naked singles to the end now, which should mean that this is probably tractable for most people. We don't know until we go ahead and solve it the rest of the way out, but I think this will be good. So, I mean, we can see what we can do. I'm not a great on-camera solver myself, but that's 4, 5, 6. That's only 1. 4, 6, 8, 9. That's only 1. So that's 2. 3, 5, 7. What's in here? I don't know. Lots of stuff. Do more in column 8. Oh, yeah. Yep. That's what I just got. That's not 5. Penciled that wrong. Oh, that's just a 3. That's a 7. So that's not a 3. That's 4, 6. And this is 2, 5. 2, 5, 4, 6. So we know what's down here. 9, 8, and 3. So that's 3, 4. Yeah, I mean, so we've got this all resolved just about down to pairs and such. What's over here? And I think if we start doing, that's 1, 6, some stuff like this would be good. So the question is, do I want to keep solving this, or do we want to talk about some other things? That's not a 1, that's not a 9, that's 4, 6, 8. So I'm going to maybe try to keep solving this, because I think it might work out here. Maybe I should keep coloring it too. Why not? Box 6 is looking pretty satisfied. Oh, yep, I would say so. Thanks. Yeah, that is gonna go up there and do that work. Whoops, do that work. So that's puzzle done. It's not a 6, which means anything. That's not a 2. So lots of stuff that can be done here. 4 and C9 looks up. Yep, got that. What's this? This is either 2 or 5 or 7. What's this? 2, 3, 6. Could be a lot of things. One of those is green and it's a 5, which means one of these is a 5. Those are not 5s. That's not a 5. I guess I should just pencil all this stuff. I'm not. Maybe we should think about these. Can't be 2 anywhere on these dots, so the 2 has to be there. So maybe that's all that actually gives me. Just because that's just the rest of whatever. We pencil it there. 2, 4, 6, 5. That's the last of those. That's the last of those. Okay, so one of these is wait, got that colored wrong. Got tricked by a 1. You're not prime. 9 in B1 is in R3. Yes. which means 9 is there. Yes, good. That's going to give us a 6 and a 5, 7 there. It's a 6, so these are not 6. So that's a 4, 9. That means this is the 6. That is a 4, 8. And that means this is green 2, 3. Not 2, 3, 5, 7, not 5. That's unfortunate. That still works. Oh, that's done. Okay, that's not 7, so that's 5, 6. So this is almost all done now. That's 3. What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking? Is this working? I feel like it's working. Can't be 5. It's I feel like this is working as a puzzle. Surely it resolves from here. Yeah, it's spreading out in both directions. Pretty cool. Maybe this is much better now. Let's see. 1, 1, 4, 6, 8, 9. 4, 6, 1, 8, 9. So that can't be a 9. That can't be 1. Yeah, that is much better. That's 8, 7, 9, not 7. 1, 6, 4 here. 1, not, oh, that's a 4. So that's not a 4. Get a 1, 6 pair, which tells me what? That's either a 4 or an 8. 4 or an 8. It tells me this is also a 4, 8, and this is either 5, 3, or 7, but it's not 5 and 3. It's 7. Oh, that's already known. Is it 2? That's 5 and 3. Looks at that. Whoops. That's a 2, 7. That's a 2, 7 pair, which makes that a 3, which is also seen in the row. That's an 8, 9, which is done there. This looks like it's all just finishing, really. And that's what it should, whoops. That's what it should do, because if I auto solve it, it says it's all, if I auto solve it, it says it's all hiddens and naked singles. So this is what I would expect, is that we just pencil and it'll work, right? What's left here? A 1, a 6, a 4, and a 5. That's not the 5. That's not 4. Does anything see these? Not yet. Okay, let's go ahead with these and just, whoops, not 7. And those are not 4, 8, and they see a 6, so they are 1, 9, and that's done for a while, I think, maybe. That's not 5. That's now set with that 7 there. That sets that pair that we got a long time ago. We didn't actually get that a long time ago. Maybe I messed that up, because I think that 2, 7 was from when I had that 5, 3 here. R8, C5 could be a 3. Did I mess that up? Okay, let me back up. This, correct. Yeah, I think this pencil mark's also messed up, because I think that's left over. So let's just do that. I don't think I've used it. Well, obviously I'll have to solve this again. Yeah, that's a 2, 5. So we've backed up to I think where I've, does that look right? I think we're back. Oh, I'm seeing someone's got ads, or are we back from ads? Must be back from ads. I didn't see, sorry guys, I didn't see where the ads came in. But I think we're, does it look like I think we're okay now. R9C2 isn't a 2. No, it is not a 2. Thank you. So what can I do here? Let's see. I feel like we should be done if I just see a thing somewhere. I mean, what are these? They're 2, 3, 6, and 5. That's not 3. That's not 2. 2, 3, 6, and 5. Oh, which means one of these is 6 at least. So that's not 6. And there was a 6 that's not useful. Oh, white dot here. That's helpful. How is this helpful? How is this helpful, Prop Meow? 1, 2 seems okay. 6, 7 seems okay. Oh, this box 4 is not so helpful. Box 8's helpful. Yep. Yikes. How helpful is it? 4, 4, 4. I didn't pick the greatest colors for the pencil marks, I think. They're pretty nasty contrasting. This has significantly slowed down here at the end. Do you guys feel like, I feel like it's significantly slowed down here at the end. It's still okay, but maybe we do want to put, I might still want to put another digit in here if it slows down this much. 7 in C3 looks down. What? 7 in column 3 looks down. Yes, it does. Yes, okay. Maybe it's just scanning that I need to do better of. Yeah, because actually that's gonna do everything, isn't it? That's gonna do everything. 2, 5, which means where is my last green? It's got to be there. That's helpful. That is a 5, 6. Keep finishing my colors here. That 5 looks down. 2, let's see, we got to get rid of these ones. So we've devolved into a solve of a puzzle that was totally busted. Whoops. To something that I think might be palatable. Let's see, 2, 3. That's not 1 anymore. 4, 5, 6. That's 4, 6. It's not 6. That's our 1 there. That's not, wait. 1 is somewhere here. What are these? 1, 5, 6, and 1, 2, and 3. So 3 is here. That looks over there. Sets these. And that gets rid of 5 here, so that's good. Gets rid of 5 there. 2 and 3. That sees 2 and 3, so that's a 6. That's a 4. What do we got going on here? Yeah, these are done. 2. How is that? Yeah, the 7. So how is that not resolved? That's the only place left for the 5, 6. That's been like that for a bit. Okay, I think we're done. Just about. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a 9. That's the 4, 6, 5, 4. Yeah, we're done. What is that digit? It's a 5. What's this digit? It's a 1. Okay. I like what these two, yeah, I really like what that did. That set all this. This felt good down through here. This felt good down through here. I'm going to have to solve this again and decide if maybe I want to add, I might add, one of those 4. I could add that 5 and 3, or I could add that 1 and 9. I'll probably play with those variations and see how the end of this goes. I found it a little tricky scanning, but I wasn't doing the best scanning either, and I don't usually solve like this. So, but I think this is close. Close. I wouldn't call it done, but I think it's close. What did you guys think? Because that's, I mean, you have to look past all of my missed scans, I guess, but what do you think? Looking at links between Boreum and 37, I found that early predictions estimated its density at 37. Hey, would you shoehorn why that 3 and 7 are there, right? That's good, Malrog. Let's see, we're at right over about an hour for the stream, so I've got a hard cutoff of 4:30. We can talk about some things, and we can play with another puzzle. I've got another puzzle idea that we could play with, but I thought lighten the line color a bit for scanning. Yeah, I'm not sure. This is the custom cosmetic line color, and that defaults to Sudoku Maker. I'm not sure. Hey, that's a good question. Is there a is this line a thing that someone knows what it's called? A prime, non-prime line? Do you call it a prime line? I'm not sure. I know I've seen this before, but I'm not sure if there's some kind of name for this kind of line in the community. If anyone knows a good name for a line that alternates between primes and not primes, let me know if that's kind of been established. We could see if I can play here a little bit. I could, in real time, make this lighter. Like something like that. I mean, that starts to look a little bit almost like what my entropic line color is. So, but at least that's lighter. For now, we can leave it like that. Okay. So, is there any questions people have about the project, about the puzzles, about anything? Feel free to. People might have asked some questions, but I've not religiously been staring at the chat. If you have to give a good prime whisper, would probably work generally for one-offs. I find a name can just be misleading. Yeah. Maybe I would just call it an alternating prime line or something like that. Um, uh, what my favorite least favorite elements were. Favorite and least favorite elements. Hmm. Um, I let's switch over here and click that button and transition like that and move that over and click transition again. Okay, cool. Um, there's a periodic table so I can look at it and think about it. So I'll tell you what. My postdoctoral career was based entirely on using beams of sodium atoms. So we built a sodium atom beam and shot it at surfaces and made solvated electrons. So sodium is one of my favorite elements. Uranium is another one. Um, Uranium is another one. I got one of my largest grants doing looking at interactions of uranium hexafluoride with organic surfaces. And that was with a collaborator of mine. We tried to get that work funded for a number of years. We got it funded, and unfortunately, before almost any of that work could happen, she passed away. She is one of the people that was worked on. I mean, there's lots and lots of names that worked on the discovery of the most recent elements, but that collaborator of mine worked on the discovery of tennessine. So I have a fondness for tennessine, not because I'm actually in Tennessee, although that's also pretty cool, but I have a fondness for that because it makes me think of her. So I say sodium, uranium, and tennessine. Now I gotta like think of an element that's no good. Um, least favorite element. Ooh, I don't know about that, man. Um, you know, I'll tell you what. Technetium is an element that kind of is crazy. It's right there in the middle of the periodic table, right? All of the stuff around it exists. You can dig it out of the dirt, at least in some amount. Ruthenium, iron, manganese, all this stuff. Technetium's called technetium because it's entirely man-made. We have never been able to find naturally occurring technetium. What the heck is all that about? So, um, it just like literally at 43 there's a hole in the periodic table where we can't ever find it, and I I don't actually know the reason for that. Um, but it's only man-made. We can make a bunch of it. It's not like also what's Wikipedia? I don't know. I don't remember about its how stable it is, but I think it's like really stable. But we just main isotopes, half-life days and years. Days and years. This is trace of Tech 99. That says it occurs naturally. I didn't think there was any naturally occurring technetium. But that actually says that there's a trace. No, it's totally stable. Wikipedia says that this is stable, but I thought it was all metastable. Like this here, it says 99M. It's a metastable nuclear. Maybe there's, yeah, so maybe I'm misinformed a little bit. That says that there's a trace. But you'll notice here that all of these main isotopes are synthetic, and they have huge half-lives. Like this, Tech 97, Tech 98, they have 10 to the 6 years of half-lives. So why, if they can exist for millions of years before they decay. Why can't we find them? Why is this one only in a trace amount? I don't know. Anyway, I guess it's what do you call it when you think something's true and it turns out to not be true? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Theorized to exist, but could never find it, but maybe we can. I mean, when the periodic table was discovered, germanium and gallium were theorized by Mendeleev to exist, but they'd never found them, and they were called Eka aluminum and Eka silicon, and just a hole in the periodic table. And then they found them, and the things that Mendeleev predicted about their properties turned out to be very, very close, just based on arranging the Mandela effect. That might be right, Malwa. It could be, but no. I mean, it's called technetium because it's only synthetic. I mean, that's why it's called technetium. So, technetium. So I'm going to look into this now. I actually haven't made a technetium puzzle yet, so I'm going to have to look into why at least Wikipedia thinks there's a trace of it. And maybe that will be interesting, and that will be into the haven't found its source yet, says Prof. Meow. Yeah, so that's going to be what's in the book. We're going to talk about what the heck, if there is technetium, and what the story is there. It's interesting enough. That's what's going to be the story about that one. Haven't done that one yet. I've done these ones around it. Haven't done that. Yeah. The long answer to that question. Transition back to here, and yeah. Pitch blende in the Congo. Yeah, pitch blende's got all the trace radioactive metals in it. That's how the Curies they had tons and tons of pitch blende. I'm not even sure I actually know what pitch blende is, but I don't know its exact makeup or anything. But apparently they had tons and tons and tons of pitch blende, and were able to isolate some. I don't know if it was kilograms, but not very many kilograms of uranium, I believe, out of that. Cool. Prof. Meow doing research in the background for us. Very cool. Very cool. It does sound like a auto-tune thing. Yeah. All right, let's do another puzzle, shall we? Let's make another one. I've got a do I have an empty? Yeah, I've got an empty grid here. So I've been thinking in mind about doing a puzzle for cadmium. There's my notepad. And I was thinking that so we're gonna do cadmium. Cadmium is got right here, and the numbers associated with cadmium are interesting because if you take them as digits, they're all relative. I mean, a lot of them are low. So its atomic number is 48 and 112.41 as its mass. So what I was thinking is that we could put those into the grid. That won't work there though. We could put those into do it like this: 112.41, maybe something like that, and 48 for cadmium. And so all of these are like relatively low. And I was thinking that might work really well with entropic lines. Click this. Whoops. So should I go? I think I'll go up here. There's a C. And go over here and make sure it's got solutions. Okay, it's got solutions. So, and then how are we going to draw a D? I don't want to go through here. And I can't close it because it's an entropic line. It's something like that. Does that work? Click that. Oops, that's not what I really wanted to do, but it's found solutions. Okay, so that is kind of what I was thinking. 1, 2, 4, 8 black dots. Yeah, that's a thought. Another thing, let me go back to the periodic table and look at this. Another thing that I didn't talk about that I have been used sometimes, is it on Wikipedia? I was just wondering if it's right here quickly for us to look at, is another, why it's not there. Another property that spits out lots of digits. Another property that spits out lots of digits is the, oh, there it is. The electronic configuration. So cadmium in the Bohr model, where you grab the elements as grab the electrons in the n equals 1, n equals 2, n equals 3 electronic shells. If you think of them as shells in the Bohr model, you get these kinds of numbers. Like, so for cadmium, there's 2 electrons in the first shell, 8, 18, 18, and 2. For larger atoms, you know, the numbers are the same all the way through until you get to the end. But 2, so let me, I'm just going to do that. 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, and 2. That gives me, now I was thinking maybe we could incorporate these also into the puzzle. Oops, this is my tab. 2, 8, 18, and 2. That's not going to work as a bunch more givens, but we might, we might be able to get them. Oh, what if we do an 8, if we put an 8 cage there, 8 cage, then that would force a 1 right there, gives me another low digit. I could put like a 2 cage there, so it's like 2, 8, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Let me give this. So it's like 2, 8, maybe we could do like 18, 18, 2, something like that. Start making like shells. Does this still have solutions? It still has multiple solutions. That's still black dot. It is still black dot numbers. What if I did, again, this is not how I don't think you should really set puzzles. 2, 8, 8. Now, that's some sort of like symmetrical construction that puts all of those values in there. Does that have a solution? That has no solutions. Why? Because R7C6 has no candidates. Oh, because that can't be a 2. Okay. So this can't be a 2. Whoops. Does that have solutions without... That has a solution. It's not unique. So could I put a 2 like here? Does that work? That has a solution. Ooh, okay, let's do that. Now, I don't know if this... I mean, this tells me it's got... Whoops. This tells me it's got solutions. I've got all of this stuff built into the puzzle. Now, people are asking for things like black dots, and I think that's the kind of thing that we want to do is add some kind of dots. We could think about adding black dots. We could think about some different dots or whatever. But let's see. This setup does a few things. One, it immediately sets this entropic line, one of the 3 pieces of the entropic line. If you don't know what an entropic line is, let me explain that. That on an entropic line, every set of 3 digits has to have one low digit, which is from 1, 2, 3, one high digit, 7, 8, 9, one medium digit, 4, 5, 6. So if this is a 1, that means every place 3 away is going to be another 1, 2, 3. It means this digit is a 3 because it sees 1 and 2. This digit is a 2 or a 3. This one is a 2 or a 3. The 8 cage can't have a 2 in it, so that has to be 3, 4. That digit can't be a 3 because it's beside the 1, so that would set that as a 4, and that would be a 3. Let's go ahead and put that 2 in there. Now we've set the set the rest of this line then. 4, 5, 6, that's not a 4. And these are 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9. And these ones aren't 8, so that gives me a 7, 9 pair. Oh, there's a 2, 3 there, but we already have the 3. That's already a 2. So this actually is a really... oh, we had adds again. So I'm stopping talking for ads when I noticed. I'm not sure. Okay, Malrock's back. I'm not sure if I should keep talking during ads. I'm not sure how how it works with VODs. I don't know. I'm not a professional streamer. But what I've noticed here is that just this 8 cage, I haven't even looked at these here. This 8 cage, and I guess also these 2s haven't done anything yet. But just this 8 cage sets this whole line. And we already have a bunch of digits, and we know that those are 4, 5, 6, but not 4. Whoops. Which means that that is a 4. That really is actually... This little 8 cage here starts a lot of work right there. So that's kind of nice. There's a 2 in this 18 cage because of that 2 and that 2. That seems like it probably does something. An 18 cage in 4 is doable. 4 over there. 2 down here. Yeah, I mean, this... I wonder how many solutions exactly. This says there's only 5 solutions, actually. Okay, so this only has... What's it look like? It only has 5 solutions, and it looks like all of this stuff is supposedly resolved. That's all resolved, supposedly. So we need to put some dots up here. It looks like... Yeah, if we put some dots or something up here in box 3, it probably resolves the whole puzzle. But so, again, I don't suggest that people set puzzles like this, especially if you're um, just setting puzzles. But I've set I don't even know how many. I mean, I'm setting 100 puzzles for this book. I've already set over 70 of them, so we're getting close. Um, I would say 50 of those are finalized. Let's say, yeah, more than that probably, but I've set over 70 of them. 50 of them are definitely finalized. I'm not touching them. Some of them I'm gonna maybe do little cosmetic edits and things too. And then like this boar puzzle that we just finished up today. Well, that's maybe the finished form of it there. It might be done. We'll see. This puzzle may be close to being doable. But like I said, I wouldn't set puzzles like this normally. There's a 1 here. If that's a 1, then that makes that a 3. And that doesn't work. Check this out. That's kind of nice. If that's a 1, this has to be a 3, and then that digit also has to be low, but it can't be 1, 2, or 3. So that's a 1. This is not low, so one of these is low. And one of these is low. So there's a 3 here and a 2 there. Yeah, that's how that works. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, this seems like it might be an okay setup. I haven't thought about these sums, if they do much yet. 18. Let's say we don't have a, wait, we have a 1 in the 18 cage. So we need, that's very powerful, because then those two things have to sum to 17. So that's an, whoops, that's an 8, 9. And the rest of these digits are 5, 6, and 7. This is supposed to be an 18 cage with a 2, so 3 of these digits have to sum to 15. Is that right? Have to sum to 16. So 13, if this was 6, 7, that's 13, plus 2 is 15. We'd need a 3 right there. If this was 11, one of these is 2, so we can just do that. If this was, that's if that's 13, we'd have a 3 and a 2. Okay. If this is 12, 14, we'd need a 4, which we can't do, so this can't be 5, 7. If this was 11, then we'd need a 6 in here. Wait, which we can't do. 11, is that right? Wait, is that right? If this is 5, 6, that's 11, 12, 13. Let me get rid of these marks. Am I doing my math wrong? 11, 12, 13. No, we need a 5 in here. But that won't work. Wait. Wait. We know this can work if it's a 6, 7, it would be a 2, 3. Okay. If it's a 5, 7, that doesn't work, right? That's 12 plus 2 is 14. We'd need a 4. That doesn't work. So it's not 5, 7. Can it be 5, 6? That's 11. Plus 2 is 13. We'd need a 5 in here, but we already used a 5. So that's actually just 6, 7, 2, 3. Hey, I'm getting lucky, I think, on this puzzle. Now, it's not unique. It still has 5 solutions. I don't really care where those 5 solutions are. I threw some stuff in a grid. I've got to solve it to make sure, or solve it to make sure that it's, doable. Prof Meow wants me to maybe go ahead and color this, I think, which we can do with some random colors that we don't know the meaning of, but it does point out that we have all 3 of some set there, which we know we're not low, but it's something. I don't think we know what it is yet, but it's something. Yep, that's correct. That 2 looks over and gives me that, which now we do know that, wait, did I do these colors right? Yeah, I did. 2, 3. And that means that these are 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, and neither of these are 2. That's kind of nice. Give me a 1, 3 pair for maybe a reason. Maybe something useful. These are either 5, 6, or they're 7, 8, 9. That's a 4. We've moved that 2, removed a pencil mark, giving us a 4 there. What else? Okay. This seems like it's kind of working out. This I think that was a good idea because all of these were relatively low, and they can look at this and give us some entropy stuff. I thought that was maybe a good idea. Oh, well, that's either a 1 or that's a 1. I was going to say that had to be a 1, but I don't think it does. Those 1s look down. Those 1s look down. That has to be a 1. That's a 3. That's a 1. Okay. And there's a 1 up here. And okay, 3 is there. 3 is there. 3 is up here. 3 is there. I think that's... Is that all of the 1, 2, 3s? Not quite. That's all of the 3s now, because that looks over. That's all of the 1s. Where am I missing 2s? 2, 2. There's a 2 there. There's a 2 up here. There's a 2 here. That's nice. That 2 gets rid of that 2, puts a 2 there. Oh, the 3 also puts a 2 there. But, so then we've just got this little, like, X-wing of 2s. So we got all of 1, 2, 3s. 4s are looking pretty good, too. We've got most of them. Or a lot of them. 3 in the corner looks right. Yeah, oh yeah, I got that. Yep, sorry. I got that. Yeah, I guess there was 3 ways to see that that was supposed to be a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's either a 6 or a 7, 8, 9. Almost got that line. I bet we do have that line, and I'm not seeing it yet. 4, is in one of those. Not helpful yet. So we know this puzzle isn't unique, but it's giving us a lot. R1 C9 is R1 C9 is red. Yeah. Gross naked single in R8 C4. Is that true? 6 7. That's not gross. I don't think that's. I mean, there's a quad right there that I didn't see. 6 7 8 9, which means this is a 4 5. That's not so bad. I mean, that shouldn't be 7 already. That's two pairs looking down. That's not horrible. It's not gross. I mean, if you think that's gross, then maybe. But that quad is pretty obvious that was probably a good place to look. Now, one of these is 4. Oh, there we go. That's great. Actually, that's really helpful because one of these is 4 and it's not orange. It's green. So one of these green ones is 4, which means these green ones are 5 6. That is a 5 6. Those 5 6s mean that's a 4, and that's a 5 6. And then all of these guys are 7 8 9. Oops. And can we do any better than that? Just a little bit, I think. Okay. No, you're not bad at solving, Malrog. I've seen you solve on stream. You're watching me like fumble through this thing right now. 5 6. Those are all 7 8 9. That's really nice, because now that sets that as a 6 7, sets that as a 9, looks down at that 7, that's an 8. The last one there should be a 6. That's an 8. Whoops, not an 8. Sorry. That's an 8. That's a 9. That's an 8. That sees a 7 and an 8, so it's a 9. What's going on here? That's not a 6. That was a missed pencil mark. That's just a 7 or an 8. That's not an 8. There's an 8 there, so that is an 8. So we know that this part up here didn't resolve, but when we looked, most of this stuff was resolved. So it's good that we're being able to fill this stuff in. Might be what's this pair? 6 and 7. What's this pair? 4 and 5. That means we know this triple to be 7 9 and 2. And the 2 is, wait, that's not right. 7, not 7 9 2. Got a 2 already. 7 9 2 6. 6 sort of looks like a 2, right? Green number 1. Wait. Why isn't orange 4? I'm confused. I'm confused, Prof. Did I make a mistake? Why isn't orange 4? There's a 6 in the marks in R7 C6. Oh, that 6 in those marks was improperly done. We figured out that there was a 4 down. Once we placed this 4 is what did it. We placed this 4. These two 4s looked across, meaning there was a 4 there, and we already had that 4. So the 4 had to go into one of these green cells. Yeah. The 6 that was there, which I got rid of. I don't know why that was there. That was a missed box. Yeah, you said four heads. Yeah, it's like, yeah, let's look. Let's look. I'm pretty sure we were okay. Let's look. I can, as long as I don't do anything, I can click back and click forward, right? Yeah, so here, that was legit. This was, Malrog pointed out this this pair was this hidden single, and then these fours looked across. Four had to be here. Four couldn't be in the orange, has to be in the green. Yeah, we're good. We're good. That, yeah, but that's for some reason marked as a 6. I don't know why. Probably just over pencil marking. We were somewhere like this. Okay, good. What do we have across here? I should probably have been doing a better job coloring this. It might have kept me in line. 5, 6, 7, 9. That's not a 7. This is 5, 6, and 9. But that's not a 9. This is, and that's not a 5 either. That's just a 6. So that's a 5. That's a 9. That's a 7. That's a 5, 6. That's a 6. Okay, great. 7, 9, 6, 5. Something here. 2 and 8. Hello, 6 in row 3 gettable. 6 in row 3 gettable. 6 not there. 6 not there. Thanks, Phil. And hello to you. I wonder, Phil the Hat in the chat. I am wondering. Let me just pause. There's lots. I think we're close to as far as this resolves at this point. But I'm wondering, Phil, you made a thing that takes these angular lines and makes them curvy. And I've been thinking, especially once we were on this, where'd it go? That one doesn't have the lines. This one. Want to make those lines curvy. And I'm wondering if I should make all of my letters curvy, or if you guys like this kind of, angularity to it. So let me know in the chat if you guys like this sort of angularity, or if you think it would maybe be better if I used Phil's tool, which helps curve these lines. Definitely want to use it to curve these kinds of lines, because they should be sort of curvy, but the angularity is clearer. Yes, that's true. I mean, if it removed clarity, we definitely didn't want to do it. Wouldn't want to do it. But let me know what you guys think of that while I see what else I can do here with this puzzle. Yeah, it is clear where they go. I guess, so I'm inclined to, like, for this puzzle, make these lines, which are supposed to, which I feel like should be curvy, like make those lines curve, but maybe leave all of for all the puzzles, leave it like this, unless it looks totally ugly. But I think it's okay. Yeah. But I don't know when that was. A few months ago, maybe it was even more than a few months ago. Phil put this really cool thing together that you can just, if you've got a puzzle like this with this, I think if you've got a Sudoku pad link, you can just dump it in and it curves everything for you. So if you're looking for, that's a 5. If you're looking for that kind of a aesthetic to your puzzle, it's a very cool tool. What do we have over here? Maybe this is all done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 7. 7, 8, 9. That makes that a 5. Makes this a 7, 8 pair. This is almost all done. We know that there's 5 solutions to this puzzle. So I think we are getting close to, that's not an 8, where this is going to peter out on us. At least I would think so. 9, that's not 7. 7. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think that was too horrible to get to here. Do I have anything else up here? What's left? 2, 2, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 2, 7, 8, and 6. That's not a 2. And this is 7, 8, 9, and 2. 7, 8, 9, and 2. And that's not a 2. 7, 8, 9. If I penciled that right, that's 7, 8. Wait, I did not. Something's wrong there. Where's my 4? There's a 4 in here too. Missed the 4. So that's not a 7, 8, 9. I think we're done. Yeah, need that 4. I think that's where it ends. I could click this. Why'd that do that? 7, 8, 9 across there. Yeah, we can get rid of 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's fine. 2, 4. Yeah, that's looks like where this ends. Okay, so this is supposed to have ended with 5 solutions, but I think to get to here, there was a little bit of a tricky spot there, maybe. But that was nice once it was seen, because then that set all of this and, got us to the end here pretty much. So I don't hate that. It was a little bouncy aroundy, but that might have just been because bouncy aroundy's not like I don't hate it when we bounce around the grid, but what I mean is I'm not sure that was the most telegraphed of paths through there. So I think this is a good start on a puzzle. People have been really saying that those are all black dots, so we could put a black dot there. That would make it 2, 4. We could put a black dot there. That would make it 3, 6. And that, like a couple black dots maybe here, and maybe one somewhere else, maybe here or something. Could put a black dot there, which is sort of in the middle of the C. Put a black dot here. I'll put a difference dot here to draw the solver's eye down there. That's not a horrible thought. Yeah. I'm not sure, and I'm looking at the time, and I really probably can't stay on. I shouldn't figure this out right now, because I really need to end right about 4:30 because of stuff we've got to do next. So, this puzzle I think is going to work pretty well. I'll figure out something to maybe that's a good idea to draw their eye down here, maybe, and just something up here. Whatever I put, it's going to resolve. What if you put a difference dot and rotate it to R2, 3, C6? 2, 3, C6. Yeah, that would, let's just see. Let's go ahead and see. That would make it a 7. And does that resolve everything? It does. Something like that. So that resolves everything with naked singles. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it, Malrog. I'm gonna solve it like that. Maybe I'll see if there's anything else that would be necessary. Okay, hey. Yeah, I will. So this is a good draft. That puzzle definitely is not done yet, but it's a good draft. Let me just go transition like this. Remind the periodic puzzle project should be pinned in the chat. Did I notice that the Kickstarter increased during the stream? I did notice. How far did it get to? Oh my goodness. It went, we're up to 882. Ah, that's very, very appreciated for those of you who pledged. I think this will be available as a VOD, and I hope to be able to uh, get this word out. Help me get the word out to people. I'd really love to be able to get this book out to people that might be interested. Um, thanks so much for everyone for being here. Thanks so much to the SudokuCon platform for letting me on here to do this. Hopefully it was fun or interesting. Sorry that I'm not great about engaging with the chat, but um, hopefully this was cool. I had a good time doing it, and it looks like I've got 2 more puzzles potentially finished for the book. Thanks so much, guys. I'm going to sign off now, and I'll throw this this last end card up here. Anyone that is interested in talking to me more about this project, most everyone in the chat knows how to get a hold of me on Discord. Feel free to reach out. And thanks so much for being here.